name is Dominique Nelson, and I'm here to tell you about my experience at Dr. Spiegel's office with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. I found Dr. Spiegel's office through a nutritionist, naturopathic doctor I was seeing. I was actually experiencing a lot of post-COVID, sort of long-haul COVID symptoms, which were concerning me. I had extreme shortness of breath, and I was having heart palpitations and issues with my heart and my lungs that were similar symptoms to a heart attack. And for a relatively healthy 39-year-old woman, that was very concerning. I'd had a number of medical tests done, and they didn't see anything to be of concern, but for me, I was quite debilitated. I was unable to exercise, which normally I love to exercise, and I had lost a lot of my stamina. I was suffering from severe exhaustion, like I would fall asleep at 9 o'clock every night, couldn't keep my eyes open. So this was really limiting. I have 3 children, I run a business, so it was quite debilitating for me and really hard for me to live my life normally. So I had been seeing a natural doctor for a while and taking supplements, a lot of vitamins. I did a lot of nutritional changes, and it was helping a little bit, but still not getting back to normal. So she recommended seeing Dr. Spiegel, mainly because of the oxygen hunger that I was experiencing. So I came in and got started on the treatment, and the staff were very welcoming, oriented me to how it would work, walked me through it every step of the way. The first day was a little strange. I was a bit uncertain of how it would go because I'd never done it before. But everyone just made me feel really at ease, and after the first treatment it was like no big deal at all. I was very comfortable in there. You just kind of relax, watch a movie, and was just made to feel really at ease. The first thing I noticed actually from day one for me was that I didn't have as much oxygen starvation. I actually couldn't believe it, and I sat up from the table and was sort of conservative about it, like, oh, I'm sure this will go away after a while. And hours passed, and I was still able to get satisfying breaths. So that was probably the most profound change for me, because I had actually suffered from shortness of breath for a number of years prior to having COVID, which was probably why I was so affected by it. It was a weak area for me. I have sort of weak adrenals. I've always had a rush life, and I've had trouble with that area. So this was a real marked change. And then as each day passed, I just found that I could breathe deeper and deeper, feel more satisfied with each breath. And then I noticed that my sleeping changed. I wouldn't say that I had trouble with sleep before, but this was noticeably different. It was like sleeping was deeper. I woke up feeling much more refreshed. I could tell that my body was healing at night. And then all of a sudden, I would say after day 3 or 4, I just had all this stamina. I found myself up until 10:30 at night, go, cleaning, taking care of my children, doing all the normal activities that I would have before COVID. And I remember going to bed at 11 feeling totally energized, but still ready to sleep, and dumbfounded because it had been 9 months where I had never been able to stay up that late without losing my stamina. So that was a very noticeable change. And then I did 5 days of the treatment and felt so good. I felt like that was sufficient for me. And I think that the nutritional handlings that I was doing were made more effective by the hyperbaric. I really felt like the nutrients were able to get to every part of my body and heal what was going on. And I had a number of other improvements in areas that I wasn't expecting, like aches and pains and sorenesses and things like that. They just went away. So that was pleasant and unexpected. And then, for example, just this last weekend, I went on a little vacation with my family, which normally for me would have been stressful, exhausting, anxious, because, with kids and animals and all that, there's a lot to manage. But because my body has healed so much, everything was just a pure joy. It was very relaxing, very pleasant. I honestly feel 10 years younger. I feel like I'm in my 20s again. Another aspect of the treatment that was a very marked change was a decrease in brain fog. I noticed since having COVID that I did have quite a bit of brain fog, couldn't find the words for things, just lack of mental clarity. And that was a noticeable change. I would say after about 3 days, I could actually feel blood flow to the brain. I'd have moments, especially in the last couple weeks, where I had kind of a flare-up from this post-COVID thing, where I could tell there wasn't enough oxygen getting to the brain. It was almost cold. It was like not enough blood flow. And since doing the hyperbaric oxygen therapy, I'd say about day 3, I noticed a change. I was much more quick, didn't seem to fumble to find the words for things, and that's never changed. So I was not expecting such profound changes. So I would highly recommend hyperbaric to anyone who's having any issues with their body. I really understand how infusing the body with oxygen really promotes healing, and I just can't recommend it enough.